to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you! You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen.
That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
How are we now? There we go. Okay, everybody, this is, I hate the system I have here at the office. I absolutely hate it. And comment in here. Make sure you can hear me now. Is it all good? Is it all good? Come on. There we go. I think we got an LOL. I hate the system I have here. I used to have, so it's without going into too much detail, but I do like these things. I use a Rodecaster Pro from home. It's all set up. It's my XLR mic, blah, blah, blah. Here at the office, I've got another Rode mic, but let's do here. It's just this regular USB one, and then suit looking cheap as fuck, no longer trusting. I do have some really nice, let me just tell you how this one works. So I keep this is a decent suit. I didn't buy it. Anyway, the point I have is this one I keep up here in the office. So you wore a t-shirt in here today, and then I had court online, and who fucking cares? So I just throw this suit on. I have all my nice suits at home for when I go into, actually physically go into court. But this is the thing. And should we maybe take a snip? Do I need to take it home and wash it? Perhaps. I have a few shirts here. This is the way you do it. I mean, look at here's the pants I have on. I mean, these are just regular pants here. They don't even go with this suit. Anyway, this is the situation. So I thought, look, these guys, I mean, I love Legal Mindset Andrew, and they wear their suit jackets when he's presenting, and maybe that's how you get the viewers, right? I don't do that. I wear a t-shirt. I feel comfortable, and he wears a suit jacket. He's traveling around. He's wearing a suit jacket. Maybe we'll then do the tie just a tad bit. Maybe relax a little bit here. And maybe this is how you get it. This is how you become this attorney that everyone wants to watch online. Maybe I'm not really into their looking good. You guys, please. Oh yeah, Forrest Mommy. Do you have pants on? I just showed that I had pants on, but who knows how much longer that will be. Okay. We can hear. Okay. I'm glad everyone. I think it's the cocaine that makes people watchable. Perhaps that's what's interesting. So let's talk about. There's a few things. I just wanted to do this real quick. Once again, just to show you that I know how to wear a tie. I know how to wear a suit jacket and a shirt, and that I could dress up normally. That was one thing. And then my wife, by the way, she has jury duty today. She was down there in the jury pool. I don't know. I hope she doesn't get picked because we have some things she needs to do at the house this week. It's all a big scam here. But I thought Nick posted some things up, Nick Rekieta. So I thought I would just quickly go on there and maybe play some of the clips. And I don't like as an example, he's talking. And by the way, they're getting pulled down. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Elisa Clips, love her. She posts these clips up. She is very nice. She's gone into my chat. She sent me DMs. She's like, do you mind? I like some of the stuff you do. I don't know what I'm going to do, but do you mind if I clip some of your stuff? And I'm like, absolutely, you don't have to ask again. It's all good. I don't believe in IP law. And I've said that before here. And then people come back at me like, oh yeah, sure. I'm sure if someone stole you. Nope. It's crappy. I've been struck on using people's stuff before, even under fair use. The way that YouTube works is I don't like it. It's guilty until proven innocent. In other words, even if you are doing it under fair use and you use someone's clip, they can strike you immediately. That person put it, Joe Rogan even does this for using his clips, and then your channel's struck, and then you have to fight to try to get it undone. Now, I don't like that process at all. It's stupid. Other platforms don't. They have to, come up with a little bit semblance of some reasoning, and then there's a little bit of a dispute, and then it can be, taken down. So I'm not a fan of that, but I'm also just not a fan of that whole system in general. I've talked about this a little bit. I'm not. I've read multiple, indication treatises on this, books on this, and I've come up with where I believe with Stephan Kinsella that IP law is just monopolist, and I'm not a fan of it personally. I mean, think of it this way. I write a book. I sell that book to someone. They now have this book. It's out there. They can do whatever they want. Can they photocopy it and give it? Sure, I think they should be able to do that. I don't believe in this labor value. That's the big commie way that you have, that you put your labor into it, and so therefore you own it. I don't know. I just don't believe that. And so anyway, Elisa, she comes out here. She's put out clips. And she does clips of Nick's show. He's been fine with this before. Now he's pushing back and saying, you can't do this now. She was taking some of the clips from his locals. I think that's under his paywall. That's not necessarily for mass distribution, but that sounds like she's going to be taking some of this stuff down. Fine. I think Nick's just a little bit not consistent in this aspect. Like I said, use it, use my stuff, show it out there. The problem is before it was being used to promote him. Now it's not. So therefore, he's going to be striking you to take it down. If I'm doing something, it's up there. I'm put it out for free on the internet, right? So it's out there. Everyone can do what they want with it. It's just. Maybe if I was making millions, but then you're making millions of dollars off it, right? And I think the more publicity you get, the better, right? As far as like it's only gonna help you, unless you're a piece of shit. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm not a fan of him striking. If I use people's clips and stuff too, have I asked them for that? I just did a show the other day about Andrew where I disagreed with him when I was playing some of his stuff, but I wasn't taking him on anything. It was more of an issue about price gouging, where I talked about that. I didn't ask him for permission to do that. Maybe I should have, but I'm on good terms with him. I've used a bunch of other people's stuff before, and usually it's me, making commentary about it anyway. So it is under what I would consider the fair use claims of this. But until then, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Elisa, nice lady. Puts out clips. Her clips do much better than when she featured me with Potentially Criminal, much better than my own show. But I'm like Sean in this respect, where like, look, I'm here. I had court this morning. I'm gonna do a quick show. I just love talking. I love communicating with you guys in the back and forth. And that's really what this is a sideshow. This really is a sideshow, but it's something that I enjoy to do. I've always enjoyed talk radio, the politics, the stuff we could get into all. By the way, just on that note, my wife 2 weeks ago, Friday night, she got tickets for, it was advertised in our area, Thunder Valley Casino out here, that KillTony was coming to town. So I'm like, oh, KillTony. And I've talked about this. I'm going to go to KillTony, maybe, see the whole thing. Should I put my name in the bucket? And we go out there and it's actually not KillTony. It's Tony Hinchcliffe. And he had a guy open it up and then Kim Congdon and then him. And he did it, and it was fantastic. It was just his doing stand-up. And I came out of there, and I said, this was like going to a Trump rally. That's literally what I said. I might have said it online here. I definitely said. And then Saturday night, we're out with some friends, and I'm talking about it, and I was like, it was like a Trump rally. It was hilarious. And then Tony Hinchcliffe, Sunday morning, I look, and it's like, he's doing a lot of the stuff was the exact same. He's longer on his show, or it was the stand-up he did, but his Tony Hinchcliffe goes before Trump at Madison Square Garden, and there is the hypocrisy. By the way, he said Puerto Rico. He didn't say Puerto Ricans. He said Puerto Rico is a big pile of garbage. But then what did he say about California? He trashed California at the end mercilessly. And no one seems to think that's a problem. Somehow it's racist to talk about this garbage island, but not this garbage state. Right? So the people getting all upset, and then they act like Madison Square Garden, it's only been used 2 times in history. One time with the Nazi rally, and this time, oh, there you go, the thumbs up. And okay, get away. And this time for Trump. So it was stupid, it was ridiculous, and cope and seethe, as the lovers like to say. Okay. How I long to be a person that begs to Jesus. I would love to be Jesus' slave. I have a great and strong feeling of wanting to lick your toes. Oh, great Lord Jesus, abracadabra. I have no idea what's coming on there. That was a little disturbing, John. I don't know why I even read that, but there you go. Okay, maybe you're quoting Nick Rekieta. So with that in mind, Nick's talking about blocking people. I don't follow him on social media. I've been more interested in his case, right? Talking about the case, the family law issues. We don't know a lot about that. I enjoyed his trial streaming. That's been fun as well. But when he's taken, and then he takes shots at everybody, and this is what I've had a problem with the Robert Barnes and the Viva Fries of the world, right? We'll go toe to toe about the philosophies, the analysis, the legal side. And then they like to get into people's ad hominem attacks. When they start doing that, then I get a pushback. Okay, no offense, but you start trashing people online. Now you're all up for it, right? And without any, I don't go after people specifically their looks or whatnot, because I just think that's not something necessarily that they can do anything about. I'm not the prettiest person either, but Robert Barnes starts taking on people that I think are just stupid. Well, then I'm going to point out the obvious mistakes in him. This, fat doughboy, he wears a vest under his jacket just simply to hold. It's a girdle. That's what it is. And then Viva Fry. How much hair product does that Canadian use, right? So you can dig into, but that's what those guys are doing, and that's also what Nick's doing. And then he does a stream and he talks about they're nerds online, they're nerds, and I was like, didn't we all love? At least I did. I grew up in the '80s. I loved Revenge of the Nerds. Anybody watch that? You see this movie. You've got Wormser. You've got all these. We've got pie, hair pie. The nerds had their revolt, and the kind of the semblance of that, which was these jocks were just dicks for no apparent reason. That's what Nick is actually doing here, and he's ripping on people, and it's like, okay, but let's back up a little bit. You're because he said Sean was this nerd and he couldn't. If that is who you're going to pick as your attorney, are you going to get Biff, or are you going to get someone who is knows the law and can present themselves well? We watch these trials online. Sometimes they're good-looking people, sometimes they're not. You see someone that's better looking than others. Testifying the other day. One of the officers for the Sarah Boone case. Okay, that's good to look. It helps. Yes, all those kind of things help in life. You get along better when you're the better looking, right? But I'm not saying anything about when Nick is, like accusing people whether they're good looking or not. That my point is, though, when you're going to pick someone as your counsel, would you prefer someone who likes to paint models and does streams for fun and seems to know a lot about it and will defend your case well, or would you prefer a guy that's banging chicks in the back, strung out on coke, or Robert Barnes, these type of people, right? And you think Robert Barnes is not a nerd? I mean, that's really where you're going to go after. So I think it was pathetic. And I just don't think going after these people in that manner makes any sense or does yourself any justice. But here's where we are with him. So, okay, let's get into some of this. California, yeah, slaves to the master Gavin. Yeah, absolutely. They have no concept of roast comedy or comedy in general. The left is so lame. Yeah, he also said he was doing a pumpkin carving with his black friend the night before. I really like Jesus. I do too. And so thanks, John. I don't know what you were saying there, though. Wow. I have a heart on 14. Okay, there we go. Nick needs to block his nostrils. You're pretty. Well, you're not bad yourself. You're very pretty. Look, we're not going, Meredith. We're not going down this road, people. This is why I maintain a good. We're not talking about I'm not going after anything like that. I know my flaws. Okay, I know them. My wife points them out to me. She's like, "You're going to the gym 3 days a week now. You've got to start going." And then she's talking about how many calories in a burrito, in a tortilla yesterday. I mean, this lady's merciful. Just good looking. Okay. Rootless redneck. Yes. You also look 10 years younger than you are. Okay. Enough about this. Keep going. I'd rather get a guilty charge than have an ugly lawyer. When new believers in Christ were converted, they were naturally moved by the Holy Spirit to grab as many books as they can and pitch them into a fire. I don't know what's going on, John. You look very dapper. And by the way, Jose, thanks for coming in here. Sorry to hear about your wife. I hope everything's going. She was at the hospital. He posted online, so I'm not sharing anything out of court. But he didn't get it onto Bro Grove, so feel bad for that. I hope everything's good there with your family. We always want everyone to be safe and dapper. Let's play a clip here of a little bit of Nick Rekieta. I want to go through some of this a little bit. So let's go to 1.25. So he was coping, seething, and talking about his family and whatnot. And so here we go.
Oh, and anyone who thinks that I gave cocaine to my child or that my child actually ingested any cocaine is retarded. I missed dinner. I was help some of the kids get dinner. The older ones fend for themselves a lot of times. Oh.
Isn't that what the problem was before? The kids were having to fend for themselves?
By the way, let me just say this. Literally all of
I want to say that too about the coke stuff. So I know she got tested. There was coke in there. And he does say, maybe we'll play it in this part here, that the state refused to retest her. Okay, well, whose possession is she in now? You could do those hair follicle tests. They have 90 days they're able to go back to. Is she bald now? Is she still have any roots in her hair? Go get a test. Just go get a test. I think that's pretty easy to do. If they didn't want to do it, you could have done it.
Is bogus. All of it.
All of it.
Anything where the kids are like hungry or like dirty or stinky or whatever, any of those reports, those are all false. None of that happened. None of that was true. People make a big deal out of my 6-year-old. People make a big deal out of my 6-year-old. Asking the police officer to help her get clean clothes. They're like, see, it's a dirty child. No, she had just woken up for the day. She was still in pajamas. She needed to change into clean clothes because our kids do wear clean clothes.
Okay, let's stop right there. And by the way, I wish I had done a little bit more prep here. I'm going to look and see if I could find this. Nope, that's not it. No, that's emotion, denial of Frank's, closing, ruling. I want the I need this all in. Okay, let's see if we can find here Nick 1. Nick 2, I have search warrant affidavit. There we go, search warrant affidavit. We need the search warrant, not the affidavit. We need the actual breakdown of after the fact. Was it the supplemental? No, that's not it either. Okay, but the officer said they said when they getting the kids out of the house, they said. The daughter said to them, "I need to get clean clothes," just like what Nick said there, right? Let's put this in back, just like this. He said. However, there was another, and this is where body cam comes into it. There was an extra statement that girl put onto that. I need clean clothes, which was, I haven't changed my clothes in 3 days. I think that's what it was. I haven't changed my clothes in 3 days. I'm dirty, something like that. Okay. So that's a little different than what Nick is saying about this kid. So once again, he could be right. Maybe the officer embellished that. It seems a little odd. We probably have body cam footage. We're able to take that into account.
So all that shit is entirely fake. Our kids have the amount of money spent on food in this house. Yeah. They're not hungry. They can all cook for themselves. It's insane.
I believe you. Look, we have 4 kids. 2 of them are now out of the house. College, Southern California. One, he's working his real job. He got his paycheck this last week. I look at it and I'm like, holy shit. Because he still has a joint account. Not a joint. His account's linked to mine. So I was giving him money because he was finishing school. Now he's got this job. And I'm like, can we transfer it the other direction? I think I need some. But it's still your response. I know the 2 that live at home still, I mean, they're both in college now. But, you know, we still, hey, they're in college. We don't have, but you still make sure your kids are eating, even if they're really self-sufficient. They're doing their laundry, when they're younger. Your kids are all minors. You still need to make sure that they're actually, yes, they take care of themselves. Here's what I think is good family does is we have meal times. Sometimes kids are doing whatever. You have dinner together. Make sure everyone's taken care of because sometimes kids will just eat crap and they'll do whatever they want. But evidently his kids got it taken care of.
But hey, that's how it goes.
Ugh.
Dead Pap. It's a good question. And when we found out about the test, we demanded a retest. We asked them, please, like, help us figure this out. The state refused. The state refused to retest the child. We believe there was some sort of error in the testing process. Also, well, there's something to cover at trial if it comes down to it as well about that. But eventually probably talk about publicly, but for now it's got to remain under wraps. But let's just say that there's an alternative explanation. But the one explanation that makes the least sense is the one that the test says occurred.
Okay, I don't know what this alternative. Look, it's either a bung test or your kid got coke from you. Are you saying that the state maybe Officer Pomplin put a little cocaine in this girl, or maybe when she was getting her clothes, you know, the gloves from the officers? But that's it. It's not contact. It's you pull the root out and you do a test there, the hair follicle itself, not the hair on the end. So I don't know what these alternative situations are. Let's go here. So just got back from the hospital. Okay, I hope everything's good. Everything okay, Jose? Yeah. Burning those. Look, we're not. I'm a Christian, but we're not burning the Jesus stream here. Yeah, Meredith. Good to know. Good, y'all. These kids pulled a Britney Spears and shaved heads all of a sudden. Yeah, Nick. By the way, if you shaved out, they can use your fingernail. So they can clip off of a fingernail. A lot of them could do that. And there we go. Nick was going after people being nerds. That's just odd because he's a giant 4K nerd. Yes. And by the way, who cares? Who cares? Here's what happens with nerds, right? They end up being your boss someday. That's literally what happens. I'm trying to have my kids where they're not in jail because of thought crimes, because my kids don't think like a lot of kids. They're very smart and they'll say things, and then they have me as a dad, and next thing you know, the hard R's being hit someplace. So I'm trying to have that happen. And typically I used to think that, oh, they're going to be a little bit of a renegade and they're going to be, you know, be the leaders. You know, that happens. I think they're going to be in jail, you know, honestly. However, unless Trump's nominated, you know, and we repeal all these speech codes. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But with that in mind, you know, let's get back here. He's a nerd. And it's fine to be a nerd. And so these arguments just don't really happen. Forrest Mommy says, exactly, Odie, a lot of these online people are just nerds who got a big name. Not Tyler, of course. He's not. No, not Tyler, because he doesn't have a big name. Look, here's the truth about it. I went to a kind of a preppy high school, okay? And it was a boarding school, okay? Co-ed, though, which was good my junior and senior year. My parents did not come from money, but I really wanted to go to this school, and my grandmother helped pay for it. It's on the beach. It's pretty standard, I must say. However, when I went there as a junior. The senior class was really cliquey, like this, and there was a lot of like your jocks and your preppy kids and your nerds, and they all had all this infighting. My class came about, and there was a lot of mix. A lot of my friends were athletic and nerdy. So then you're confused. It's like, well, okay, I go to this guy because he's smart in school and you're getting help, but then I'm playing sports with these. So I was an athlete, but yes, and that's where I figured out that I could do math, and I was actually good at academics as well. So it was a really good environment, and our class was great. So there was this combo of nerds and athletes. There's one of my good friends, God rest his soul, because he passed away a few years ago. but he was then getting into genetic stuff here. It's like one of his parents was Jamaican, and one of them was half white and Jamaican, and then another one was like Asian. So he had this Asian like brain. I mean, he went to Cal Berkeley and Bolt Hall for law. He was super smart, but he also was this amazing athlete. And you're like, hey, wait, what? It was perfect. So he was nerdy. He was an athlete. He was a jock. He was a nerd. It was all of this. And you know what, Nick? That's perfectly fine. What do you want your kids to be? I want my kids to be somewhat of a nerd and also somewhat of a not a nerd. And it's really more about the fact that you can take someone like Tony Hinchcliffe and see those jokes and you can laugh at yourself. That's the most thing. That's why when I had this show with Andy would come on here and he would rip me to nothing, to shreds all the time. That's what I want. I want, self-deprecating humor. To me, that is fun. Why? Because I'm somewhat self-confident in this myself. Sometimes my 9-year-old refuses to change her clothes, puts the same outfit on and taking a shower. Have to tell y'all to put on your clean clothes. Yeah. Force Mommy says not just dust, but in the body. I don't know what that's related to, but let's take a look here. Look at Nick's whole concept has been about, the house is, look how messy. This is after they cleaned it. I don't know if you can even see this here. This house is a mess. These countertops are disgusting. One, I'm not a fan of these cupboards. We had a house, the one we did now when we moved in, they were like that. We sanded down, painted them ourselves, so they look much different. I'm trying to see if there's a spot where he moves. There was one I saw where he moved, and you can see better. Maybe here you go. So look at all that clutter on the counter. Empty bottles. I mean, clean that shit up, Nick. Ooh, bonus content. Yep. Jose says, by the way, going part-time for a while to keep an eye on the lady. We'll probably do 3 morning streams a week now. Should line it up if this time works for you. Should link up. Are you talking to me? Yeah, let's totally do it. I'm at work. Jose, we're in a group chat together, a few of them. You know how to get a hold of me. So, of course, I'd love to do that. If you're talking to me. If you're talking to Forrest Mommy or JC, well, that's on you guys. But, yeah, if you ever need anything here to comment on. And by the way, this is something I didn't really. This is the premise of the show initially, and I think we're done with Nick here, and then we'll take off for the day because I do have work to do. I got a bill, which is my favorite thing to do is to highlight, and it's fun sometimes, right? It's fun to take on on this guy and to make jokes about it, really. But I love to highlight stuff that I love, right? Sean's been doing a great job. I've really been enjoying his show. I followed Uncivil Law for the whole Sarah Boone trial. By the way, we talked a little bit about that on Friday. The verdict came out in an hour, guilty, like no hands down, da-da-da. It was interesting that the defense went at this with a concept of self-defense rather than like a negligence thing, right? Probably would have been better to go the fact of like, yeah, he was in there. They were both drunk. She went upstairs. She forgot about him. Comes down here and he's blue and twisted up in the morning. That would have been the problem is she had filmed him. Yeah. So I love to promote shows. And obviously Jose has a great one out there. A lot of people have different ones. You want them to mentally be a nerd, but be able to shove a nerd in a locker at moment's notice. That's completely true. And by the way, I am a fan of bullying. The bullying, anti-bullying thing has gone so far that you allow people to, the Karens, to really take over, and the bullying, there needs to be, it's mutually assured destruction, even on the bullying fronts, right? So sometimes a kid gets bullied at school. It should teach him some, within reason. I'm not talking about like, beat downs and shit. Within reason, and then you either learn how to resolve those problems or you commit suicide. No, not that. Or you, and that's the bad part, right? When it happens, and I think we need to obviously eggshell client type of thing where a person is better, not so good. But Nick's all out here basically wanting to bully, but this is us bullying him back. This is exactly, I'm not, defamation, you go down those kind of routes as well, to preserve your character and your reputation. But sometimes it's just shaming someone instead of boycotting. It's just shaming someone online for doing completely crappy stuff. This is the thing that people misunderstand. I listened to a podcast this weekend. It was the Fifth Column podcast, and they had Dan Crenshaw on there. Dan Crenshaw, myopic view of a lot of things. Some things I agreed with, some things he was just completely wrong about. And he talks about, libertarians and they live and let live. And I'm like, okay, back up. I may say it's okay and that cocaine should be legal for adults, But I'm also saying I think you're a piece of shit doing it, and I don't think that you're doing it around your kid. This has been my whole concept, right? I'm not saying I'm all for the government going and arresting him necessarily for doing it privately. Doing it around your kids, now you have a problem, and it's perfectly fine to shame someone. Sex work, I'm not a fan of that, but I don't want it to be illegal. It is crazy, right? You have two people having sex, exchanging money to do it, right? It's illegal. And then you put a camera in there and you video it for the internet and it's suddenly legal. That's the loophole, right? The loophole is porn versus, sex work, I guess. And maybe the same. Okay, let's go through here and then we'll be done. Cocaine, everything I say is related to cocaine. Okay. JC, your damn avatar makes me think of uncivil law. Yeah, so I was just saying about that. I promote him. I like people to do good shows and to kind of do that. And because I love to see people succeed on their merits for doing good work. And that's what I'm trying to do here, just trying to entertain. Wouldn't cocaine make you clean? I don't know what that's in reference to, but maybe. The countertalk was one thing I noticed right away when you brought up the video. Yes, one hell of a drug. Looks like microwave leftovers covers. Dude, I'm talking to you, Tyler. Okay, well, let's contact me. Of course, I'll be glad to do it. When you're addicted enough, you only do more cocaine. You don't clean or anything. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying you'd be on coke, you'd be more clean. Correct. Perhaps you really only have one good month of being productive on blow. Then you're just addicted and screwed. So I've heard. So of course, when we started. Well, I appreciate you guys all coming to this chat today. Did a quick one. Maybe we'll do another one. My schedule. I'll just throw this out there. I think I'm, like I said, I had court today. Tomorrow I'm fine. Court on Wednesday. Court on Thursday. Oh, and then Friday I'm doing a show with my friend Jonathan Scriven. Let's see if we have this brand here. I don't think I pulled that thing up. No, Jonathan Scriven. We're going to talk politics. He is I want to say center lefty, smart guy, but I think we're gonna be at odds with some things. So I'm curious to see where he comes out and what he's going to do. Talk about the elections that we have coming up. So that's what we have. And I appreciate everybody coming in here. By the way, if any of you are out there and you found, because Nick did an appeal to his Frank's motion, right? He did an interlocutory appeal, which is mid-trial, mid-hearings type of stuff where something so needs to be happening now that could determine, part of the outcome. So he gets denied the Frank's motion. He files this request for an appeal. It's going to get denied. He even said it in some of his videos, but he's trying to do what he can do. Now, if anybody finds that or Kayla's stuff, send it to me because I look on the Kiwi Farm sometimes and I'm like, I can't hang out there. So I'm having trouble. So let me know. Otherwise, we are going to be out of here, people. Let's see if this works. I don't have a good outro, but I'm going to end the stream, and it's going to play a little clip, and then we'll be done. So thank you. Hit like. Make sure we get our numbers up, and we'll see you maybe during this week. Put your alerts on. Otherwise, wear a suit, wear a tie, be fancy like me, and I'll see you on Friday. Take care.
Let me just caution the audience. Let's not go down this road. We've asked you to please, keep restraining yourselves and would be helpful so we can hear the candidates because these are important issues and the voters want and need to hear.